Now again, this is simply just one guy's opinion. But people do these things. People put their own spins on certain productions or cover certain songs in a radically different way, or create completely different styles of music which are completely foreign to anything that came before, simply because that's what they want to do. And they think, well, some people, for some people it's what they want to do, for others is what they think people will like, and of course there's a combination of the two. There's plenty of reasons why people do those things. If you want to say that that's a mockery of the original, you're perfectly entitled to say that. But people wouldn't do those things, and they wouldn't catch on if people didn't like them. The fact that this is popular in the first place proves that there are people out there that want to see that kind of stuff. It really is about taste. However, we conservatives should not confuse family values with aesthetics. In the realm of art, our evangelical brethren have many crimes to answer for. When a church replaces Bach with Bacharach, it has engaged in the aesthetic rape of the liturgy. As before, your opinion, but people wouldn't do that unless they liked that kind of stuff. Bach has had hundreds of years to get his popularity, and Bacharach's only had a few decades, and they produce different types of music. It's all about taste, it's about what people want to hear. And who are you to tell them that one is wrong and the other is right? And how would you justify such a statement? Just because one has good intentions and approaches the numinous with sincerity and authenticity, the latter term ironically being a buzzword among the Marxist aestheticians of the Frankfurt School, that does not absolve one from aesthetic responsibility. As far as I'm concerned, those who advocate a dumbed-down liturgy and schlocky pop music, substitutes for Bach, Handel, and the masses of the Renaissance, are as offensive as the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church and his perverse sexual politics. I agree that if people are producing music, they should, or any kind of art in general, they should try to do it to the best of their ability. This isn't about doing it to the best of their ability, this is about doing it within your specific, narrow-minded guidelines, isn't it? There's certain kinds of styles which you don't allow people to make, you don't allow to call music. And that's just, again, an opinion being sold as fact. Right, this is probably the part of the article I have the most issue with coming up now. Part of the hard work of civilization is teaching young to be able to distinguish between the good and the bad in all aspects of life. Fair enough. If we teach our young children to obey the 10 Commandments and to obey the laws of the land, and the 10 Commandments I'm not so sure about, I'm not sure they're up-to-date rules that apply in our current society, but whatever, laws of the land, well, again the same things apply. There are out-of-date rules. You have to think about these laws. You can't just say that they apply and that's it. You can't just say, these are the laws, obey them, don't try to change them, because then the society stays static and the whole point of progress is just shot in the foot. But anyway, where was I? But don't teach them to realise that Johann Sebastian Bach is superior to Dimebag Abbott. We have failed as parents and mentors. So, if we don't indoctrinate our children with what we say is the better music, and they don't then come out thinking that, then we are bad parents and mentors. Is that what this is saying? I just want to be clear here, because if it is, this is just... What can I say, really? I have a good idea for what I can say about this. How about that instead of telling people what you want them to like, you let them decide for themselves? Capiche? If a person has gone through 12 or 13 years of education and has not developed an appreciation for the greatest artistic achievements of mankind, that education has been an utter failure. So if you produce the greatest scientist of all time who has an encyclopedic knowledge of all scientific facts, but who also likes metal on the side, then, you know, this guy, I have to put this into perspective, makes Einstein look like crap, then we've failed him in his education. Are you really sure about that? So regardless of what we teach anyone, if they don't recognize Bach as being the greatest composer of all time, and make sure that that's what they like on, you know, above and beyond anything else, then they are the result of failed education. Yeah, because that makes complete and utter sense, doesn't it? I'm sorry, this is sounding like an ownage video. You do have to understand, I do find this article really offensive. While laissez-faire is the correct approach to economics, of course, because there's obviously one right way of going about your economic opinions, because there's only one way that works in general, and it's definitely that one. Now, I know I'm not very well versed on economics, but still, it's far more complicated than that. There may well be a right way, but we just don't have the knowledge at the moment to know for a fact what that right way is. Come on. It has no place in the realm of aesthetics or morality. Not indoctrinating people, leaving people alone to actually make up their own minds as to what the best course of action is to take in society, and what they think, you know, what their favourite music is. We can't do that. We have to indoctrinate people. Is that what this article is really saying? A confident civilization imposes its morality and aesthetics on its young people. Yes, it is what this article is saying. I'm completely right. If you impose an absolute morality and certain aesthetics, things that you want people to like, onto other people, and we've seen this time and time again, there is going to be a rebellion. People simply don't like that. People are into such modern concepts such as freedom of speech and freedom of thought. People should be free to make up their own minds as to what band they like, what painting they think is the best. And when it comes to morality, I agree there should be guidelines. Like, don't kill people, don't rape people, stuff like that. If we have this absolute morality, then society is never going to change. What if we come up with an extremely complicated moral situation in the future, and our outdated current laws just aren't good enough? Yes, you heard it right. We impose. The Rousseauian noble savage is a myth. Left unchecked and untutored, the savage will never attain nobility. There are those who will accuse me of elitism. Damn right. And I admit it. I am a conservative elitist. I want the very best form of government, the very best of civilizations, the very best educational system, the very best literature and art, the very best music, the very best way of life. So does everyone I've ever known. They want that kind of stuff as well. But, and this is extremely important, they disagree with you that what you've outlined in this article is the best way of achieving these things. I disagree that imposing morality and aesthetics on other people is really going to make things run so smoothly. If I need open heart surgery, I want to go to an elite heart surgeon. Mediocrity is the goal of socialism. Mediocrity may at times be a result of socialism, but it's not the goal of socialism. The goal of socialism in most cases, like let's say healthcare at the moment, the goal is to give healthcare to everyone. Right? Now, I'm not going to give you my opinion on healthcare. I do need to read into it a bit more. But I at least recognise that what they're trying to do is for the good of everyone. They're trying to give healthcare to everyone and get around this problem of 50 million people being uninsured or whatever it is. Americans should aspire to greatness. Everyone should aspire to greatness. In the past 40 years, conservatives have won great victories in the political, economic and moral realms, but we stand to throw all our gains away if we do not reclaim ascendancy in the aesthetic realm as well. What? I have no problem with the concept of conservatism. If you want to hang on to certain traditions, if they work, that's perfectly fine. If not, then new ideas is the solution. I, for one, will never be satisfied with something that is not of the best possible quality, the best we can do. And I'm not talking about aesthetics here because that's a matter of taste. I'm talking about actual society. If we hang on to traditions which simply don't work, then they don't help anyone.